Hello, it's the 2nd of March 2014, which means that I've now been on testosterone for 8 months. I don't think my voice has dropped any further. I don't know actually. I can sing beautiful low notes now, it's gorgeous. I'm really happy with my voice changes. My testosterone dose has been upped again. I started off with Sustanon at 4 weekly intervals. I'm now doing it at 2 weekly intervals because my T levels were low. And it's better. It is better. It just means having to go to the doctor to get my shots every 2 weeks, which is quite regular and quite full on. So I'm trying to decide whether I want to go on to libido, which is only every 12 weeks, or probably in my case every 10 weeks, or learn to self-inject, which still worries me, because I really don't think I will treat it with the respect it deserves. What else has changed this month? Well, I am still becoming more and more hairy. I now have a hairy chest, which is a bit worrying because I haven't had chest surgery, and whether that will affect chest surgery, I suppose they'll just pull out all the hairs that they need. I don't know. It's around the nipples is where it's most hairy. So when if I eventually get an appointment there, then I'll have to ask Mr. Yelland. I'm still waiting for my referral letter from the gender clinic. I went on the 11th of February, but I still haven't had a letter yet. I'm hoping that doesn't mean it's because the second doctor wouldn't sign me off, because that would be awful. You notice I've got vast amounts of cats on me. Oh, one's gone, the other one's still here. They jumped on as soon as I turned the camera on. I don't know what it is with cats and cameras. This month I've what are body changes? Certainly getting more muscles in my arms. However, part of that is because I'm now going swimming regularly. We have a trans-only swimming group on a Friday night. I've now been 4 weeks. I've doubled my length numeration. I started off on the first week doing 20 lengths and was nearly dead, and 4 weeks on last Friday I did 42 lengths, which is just over half a mile. I'm pleased with that. I was a bit disappointed at first to work out that it wasn't a complete mile because it felt like it, but I'm gonna get there. And I think this month has just been a lot of confidence to go out places, to do things that I haven't done before or would never have done before. I've got much more involved in the church back again. I used to be completely involved, and then I had a bit of a breakdown, and I've just got back, so I'm now playing the worship, the playing piano every 3 weeks, and I'm reading because I love my voice now, so I don't mind reading the scripture in church, and I've just much more confidence. I went through at the beginning of this last month, a couple of weeks ago, I went through quite a sad patch, I suppose, where it sort of dawned on me that I was less than, that I never would be a complete and proper physical man, no matter what I did, no matter what surgeries I've had. I would never quite be what I had hoped I was going to be, and that sort of, I allowed that to bring me down, because I sort of thought of it, it made me feel like I was disabled, that I just wasn't born complete, and instead of being inspired and thinking, well, yes, but I can still do whatever, I allowed it to bring me down. So I spent about a week or so grieving for my lost abilities to please a woman. Not that I have a woman to please, but when I do, my lost abilities to have a boyhood, to grow. Well, I mean, I'm not growing a proper beard yet, but a 46-year-old man would have a shadow, and I don't have that yet. And it just all got on top of me, and I just felt less than all the time. Whatever I did, I felt less than. And then I don't know how. Well, a testosterone shot helped, because that sort of boosted I was quite low on testosterone as well, and that makes such a huge difference. Somebody tried to persuade me that it wasn't mind-altering substance. It so is. It just completely changes my outlook on life and my inner contentment and happiness. And whenever I know that I'm low on testosterone, because I just feel that offness. Anyway, I brought myself around. Yes, testosterone helped, but also my mental state of turning it round and going, yes, but at least I'm not living in that horrible life that I lived before, and I've got potentially another 40 years left of living how I want to live, and I'm not getting misgendered ever now. So it's only in my head that I'm not projecting as a man. No one else gets it muddled. So somehow it turned around, and I'm now back on form. You'll be pleased to know. In the summer, well, after my top surgery, which when I first thought about this was going to be in the summer, but it's looking less and less likely that I shall have top surgery by summer, which is very frustrating. I am definitely going to do a naming ceremony or a baptism or some sort of trip into manhood, a sort of a ceremony of welcoming me into manhood. I haven't had that, obviously, because when I turned 18 I wasn't a man. I was in my head, but no one else saw me as a man, and so I want to do the sort of turning 18, going into manhood, and having another go, basically. I was baptised at 17 in my old name, and I want to do an adult baptism again. As I said, I want to do it when I've got the chest that I'd like, but I think it would be very confirming that that I will stand in front of God as His son, not as the person that last time stood in front of Him and said, "Look, I'm yours." I've spoken to my pastor, and he was well happy with it. Speaking to my pastor reminds me that I've also I've been on radio, a very short clip. When we went to the first trans swimming group, there was a radio presenter, a trans woman, who runs a trans program once a month, and she wanted sort of vox pops for about the swimming, which I did. And then we got talking, and she said, was there anything that you'd like to hear on the radio? And I suggested that maybe something about being trans and being religious, being a Christian, having a faith. Having a faith is probably a better word to it. Because I didn't realise that you could be trans and still be accepted by God. And she then said, "Oh yes, I'm a Christian too." And we had a discussion about what her church would allow her to do and what my church would allow me to do. Now mine completely inclusive, and I can do, you know, I'm not treated as anything different than who I am. She is allowed to worship in her church. She's allowed to take communion, but she's not allowed to do anything in church. She's not allowed to read or play worship or anything, you know, anything of the service that I do, because she's a trans woman. And we got talking, and so it was suggested that maybe one of her programs could be devoted to this, and so I suggested that my pastor would be a very good man to come along, and he's accepted, so that's something for the future. I can't believe how brave I'm getting in my old age of my old age of manhood. It just seems a weird thing to look back and think how different I am. It's wonderful. So, 8 months on testosterone. Life is good. I'm growing. I'm growing physically. My little man's growing happily. But I'm also really growing emotionally and spiritually, and becoming much more calm and confident in who I am. And it's wonderful. Oh, it's wonderful. Right, that's it. I will see you next month, unless I get an update about my top surgery approval letter, which I will no doubt should be jumping up and down and celebrating in an extra video. Hopefully. If not, I've got to wait till October. Oh, it's so long. Right, I will see you again. Bye.